Debes brindar amor para después pedir. Hay que perdonar para...
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel and good afternoon on Tuesday, the 8th of September. I just had to remind myself that. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. And if you're somebody who tunes in occasionally, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that we can keep the numbers up. We've got over 1,000 subscribers now, and I'm hoping to ramp things up a bit more from now on, and see whether we can get a few more and get a bit more interest going. Just to let you know that today is, as I said, is Tuesday the 8th of September. The weather's really strange. I always give a weather forecast when I do my videos, and I know that some of you like that because you're in different parts of the world. And today particularly it's 26 degrees. It's actually warmer in this workshop and outside than it is actually in the house, which I found really weird, which means that the house is very well insulated, I suppose. So yeah, I've put my shorts back on as I've been to today. I've had a bit of a day off and been to the gym this morning. Had to book online, which is fine, and and then I've also been shopping, so it's been quite nice, and catching up with people as well on social media. So yeah, so if you enjoy the videos, just let me know that, and if you want to see any content that you see around when the camera swings around or whatever, then I'm very happy to do that and involve you in anything else that's going on. I've got a list of things, as I always do. I always plan these, and I've got a sort of a mixed bag of stuff today that I thought I'd talk to you about. It'd be nice that the weather's been so great, and that lockdown is lockdown is easing. I wouldn't say it's stopped, but it's easing. And so I'm going to do several things. I'm going to show you a piece of kit that I've had in my collection for a number of years, and the problems I'm having, or the challenges I'm having, and how I'm going to solve that. I'm going to talk to you about a new bit of kit that I only got yesterday, and really nice, that I acquired. And then I'm going to also mention a few other things. So foremost, if you enjoyed the Melody 115 video, that's the little French machine, if you enjoyed that, which is now complete and he's now installed in the office in the house, then go back and have a look at those previous videos. If you enjoyed the Festival Italia that was on the 16th of August that James and I went along to, then please do actually look at that. And in fact, there are some up and coming shows. There would have been the classic car show at Aylesford Priory, that's Aylesford in Kent near Maidstone, that I have been to several years. They've several years running. They've decided to cancel it this year because of COVID, which is a bit sad, but there you go, that's their decision and I respect that. However, on the, let's just get my dates right, on the, what have we got, on the 27th of the month, 27th of September, I'll just turn the fan off because it's quite warm, this may be disturbing your enjoyment. That's better. On the 27th of September, James and I are going down to Margate, to the Oh So Retro show, and that's on the Rec there at Margate, and that's a really, it's been going about 7 years, and we've been to it I think once, yes, because the last time it rained and then something else happened, I couldn't get there for the other show. So hoping to go down, hoping to see a couple of people that I know, and one guy's got a beautiful Triumph Herald that, and I used to have a Triumph Herald. It was my very first car, so long ago that was. And the other one has got a very nice Ford Capri, and he's got a different engine into the Ford engine there. So, and as we know, the Capri was always the car that you promised yourself. I never owned a Ford Capri, but I always liked them. So hopefully Nigel and Harley will be at the show, and I should do a walk round. But if you enjoyed the Festival Italia show and I want to do a little bit more involvement, I did this at the Aylesford Classic show last year when I did the TR, I think it was a TR6 or TR4 walk around, but it was a bit windy there, so I'm hoping to do a bit more, plan that a bit better, so get my videos a little bit more professionalised in some respect. Also, my three cars I have, the Abarth 595, the Spider 124 and the Ford Mondeo, I'll do a bit of an in-depth walk around for those. The Mondeo I have done before, but I haven't done the other two lads, so hopefully I'll get those into the video. So that's just some up and coming stuff that's happening. So less waffle, let's get on. I'm going to play you some music today because I've been doing some organise the workshop slightly different. So and I'll come to that in a minute, but I'm just going to talk to you through. I'm going to talk to you about this machine. This one is the Mini Hi-Fi compact system, and it's the MHE-EX50. Strange numbering that Sony seem to use. Very, very nice. So much so, but I've still got the original. This is not me. I acquired this machine because it was thrown away. I've got the original Dixon's. God help us, Dixon's. PC World now part of. I've still got the original receipt, unfortunately, and the guarantee. The receipt has somewhat faded, and as you know, the print on these goes after a while. I'll put a poster, but you can't really see very much. The machine itself was actually thrown away. It was left when I worked for British Legion, the Royal British Legion Industries at Aylesford many years ago, a few years ago now. It was left in one of the supported housing schemes storage, and it was the chap who ran the scheme told me that it was going to be thrown away, and I said, oh no, I can't do that. So I took it on, and I've used it, but I've used the radio but nothing more. So I thought we'd have a look at those things today, and I'll tell you what's happened. I know it's from 1997 because the back of the motor on the cassette deck tells me that, and so does the receipt. So 96, 97, so about right. So without further ado, I'm going to swing the camera around and get. So here we are. This is the Sony, as I said, the Sony MHE-EX50, and as I say, it came with all the paperwork, all the provenance stuff with that. So here, it comprises of 4 units. You've got a radio, you've got a CD player, and then the amplifier, and then it's linked by this ribbon tape at the back, because you can't use these independently. You can use the amplifier independently, but you can't use the other two because they get their power supply via this ribbon connector, which if I go around the back very gently, you can see there, which is this thing here, which is like a ribbon connector, and that's the one that goes onto the cassette, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. So there, so yeah, so interesting. But I find some of this even more foxing in so much as that on these areas here you'd have the display, and the display for these particular items is actually so faint you can hardly see it. And the radio, I've had this all apart. It's beautifully engineered. You can take all of these components apart. As you can see, I'm going to talk about the cassette deck. I've taken the circuit board out there. They're quite easy to do with some careful watchmaker screwdrivers. This display has never run on this machine, so I just assumed that it was probably due to a solder joint or a misconnection, or perhaps it's been dropped. Anyway, I took it all apart, spent about 3 hours fiddling with it, and I just cannot get the display to work, and so that's been a bit of a challenge in that respect. So, but anyway, what I'll do is if I just switch it on, it comes with this huge great controller. You see the size of the controller to the unit. I think these might have been a hangover from some other time. I'm sure in 1997 we had smaller ones than this. There is a input actually for a mini disc as well. So you've got on the actual amplifier, you've got a volume control, you've got a tuner, CD, MD, which is mini disc, tape, video 2 auxiliary, and video. So I assume this is to put like a surround sound system in for your telly or whatever. And then at the bottom you've got bass and treble, direct source, and then 20 decibel muting, which I've never used those two. I have used the treble and bass, but then if you do direct, it cuts those two out. So, and then obviously you've got a phone socket here, and then standby, which is what it's on now, and there's a little red light that comes on, and on that basis. The Sony radio, which is a superior multi-control tuner, it says here. I like the word superior, I just thought it made me laugh. The display should normally come up there. You've got tuning band, you've got a roller here, like a multi-roller, which you can move the stations on FM or whatever band you're on. You've got a memory, which I've never used, tuning mode obviously, and then stereo mono. And then this side you've got clock and functions, but I can't use any of those, though I've had this front off, and it actually unclips. They're all made the same, so they all unclip. And then when you undo the little screws. But I can't get this to work. And I've tried to find a similar machine on eBay, and I can't do. So I'm not too bothered about that, because when it's on, it sounds really nice. And it came with these wonderful Wharfdale speakers. They're two ways, so bass and tweeter. But I've got one just linked up today, so I can just demonstrate it to you. And then we'll talk about the cassette. So let me just play the radio first of all. So if I switch it on, if I do that with the power supply here, one-handed. Okay. And then we'll put the radio on. Oh, there we go. This is classic FM. It's got a really nice sound. That's bass full on. Treble full on. So it's really nice. So then if you switch it over to CD, by pushing that, you can actually control it here. So if I press the CD, I've got a Al Bowley CD in there. I think that's doing, yes, just about see it. So faint, so faint. So it should be playing when you're ready. There we go. And you can move this forward and back. And you can control the volume.
I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'm going to write words.
So that works okay.
They're going to knock me off.
And then you can, I think you can open the drawer actually. Oh no, you can't open the drawer. Oh, no, you can't open the drawer.
I hope you're feeling better.
Right, so if you want to open the drawer, you go push the button here. There we go. And you've got some good, you've got obviously play, stop, forward, back, and you can then move the tracks. So if I play on here, I'll show you how that works. I think it's just about C, I don't know if you can see that, just about C there. And this is slightly darkened, this let's see, you're going to play? Right, so if you want to, you can then move the tracks here. And go back. There you go, back two, and you get right back. It takes a while to come through on this one, reading the disc. Is that right? Yeah, should be okay. Take a bit slow time here. There we go. So it works quite well, but it's just so annoying that I can't get this radio to work. As it picks up some quite good stations, and it's got a really good output. I'm not sure what the wattage output is this, to be honest. There might be some specification in the back. Can't say I've looked particularly. But the thing that doesn't work is the cassette deck, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. No, I can't find. I'll probably let you know actually, I'll find out. So let's just turn this off. There we go. And we'll turn that, I think it clicks when it goes off. So yes, so bear with me and I'll be back in a second. So you're back with me now. So we're now looking at the cassette, the back of the cassette. It's a twin cassette deck, because it's got this, it's slightly apart. I can see if I can swing around. I know these are from 1997 because on here, or 96, it's got a number 96S2. So that tells me it's 96. November, here we are, November 1996, and that's what it says on the program. Or the program? No, the instructions down there. can see there. So it's 1996, and it all fits very well together. I've taken the circuit board out, and this beautifully connects the circuit board with these pins you can see there, and they slot into the back of, like that, and then onto the board, which is great. Let's put that up there a second. That's the top piece, and then you've got this piece, which is the base. So the actual front of the cassette deck fits onto here, and so if I just see if I can turn this around without making too much of a mess of everything. There we go, there we are. So you've got the front here, and all these drawers open, so it's a double cassette deck, and the controller which you've got here can be used to control the direction in which the play. So you can decide whether you want to have which deck, A or B, and then you can dub from one to the other. Now, when I put a cassette into this, which is what you do, I discovered that the belts on these, the main drive belt, which is a flat belt, and if I show you here, you might be able to see this big wheel here, pointer. This is, this big wheel here, not that one runs on its own. This one here is where the flat belt runs from this motor here. And what I found, it was just making a nasty noise. Both of them were making a noise, but nothing was, when I put a cassette in, I used a Denis Roussos cassette just to try it out. When I used a cassette in there, nothing happened, it just made a nasty sound. So then when I actually looked in, I thought, oh, okay, so where's the belt gone then? Because I could put a large torch, a LED torch in there to see what I could find. This one here is what operates the, I think it's the reverse, and then the other one runs the rewind. And you can see some smudgy stuff here as well. I'm not sure whether that's from the actual cassette itself, or whether it's from some oil that's been left there. But what I discovered was this item here, this goo, is actually the belt. This is what's left of the flat belt. And so when I examined the second one, this one, the first one, I actually discovered that's done the same. That's actually gone to goo as well, and you probably can't see. I don't know whether you might be able to see. If I try and put a light in there, you might be able to see, but you can't. I mean, they've both gone to goo, which is quite common with cassettes. I've had this before, and I've got another Sony which has got exactly the same problem in terms that it's a reporter machine, which you might have seen in a previous video, and I haven't got around to fixing it. It came with a job lot. So I need to order from eBay. I found them on eBay, the flat belts. Not for this particular machine, just generally, and I hope the one's going to be alright. So I'm going to experiment with this side and see how far I get, and then I'll put it all back together. The actual unit itself will work without the cassette deck. It doesn't have to have it there, but it'd be a bit of a challenge, and I quite like to get it going because it's a really nice machine. One thing I've always liked about this is the design of it. It's slightly chamfered look, and this grey I think really suits it. And considering that in the 90s most stuff was black, as in the controller, you'd think they'd make the controller the same colour, and I just think it stands out. I had it in the bedroom for a while, not being used, but it's got a really nice sound. So I've now got it in the lounge because I've now downsized some of the stuff there, and which brings me to what we're doing with the Duel 505 in a second. So yes, but anyway, any sort of comments or any suggestions you've got, I would really like to know, and that will help. But I'll order those belts, and then we'll do a second video actually coming back and talking about it and see how far I get, because I have to say it's beautifully put together, and it came apart easier than I anticipated. I thought, oh well, it'll just be one of these things, you can't repair it, it's completely knackered, they didn't build it for last, and in the bin it goes. But I thought actually it's worth hanging on to a bit. So there we are. But anyway, that's that bit. So I just thought I'd tell you about that, and I'll be back in a second. So welcome back. Same day, haven't moved on at all. I'm going to talk to you about this wonderful record player, this record deck. It's the Duel 505, and this was a record deck that my son's girlfriend purchased, and she wanted to play some Beatles records, so I refurbished it for her. She bought it on eBay, and it's a belt drive machine, very, very nice, quite sought after now. And then she fell out of love with the records, I think, and so said, would I like it? So I said yes, because it was a really nice machine. I actually bought several of these and refurbished them and then sold them back on eBay. So I made a bit of money out of it, actually. But this one particular one, because I've downsized in the house now, has come out here to the workshop, and it's not rigged up to the JVC. I've got it rigged up to the Trio amp, which I use as a test machine, and then it's playing through these Technics two-way speakers, and it sounds really nice. I mean, the amplifier, I think, is the Trio. It's really nice anyway, and I use that for testing equipment, as you probably know. So I've got it just into the phono socket at the moment. So I thought I'd just play you something as an interlude to what before the last bit of today, and I'm going to play you a record by the Margareta and Vernon Midgley. These two have got an amazing repertoire and voice. I actually saw in the UK here. We used to have something called the Good Old Days, and it used to play and regularly. It was set in a theatre, and they used to have various artists, very much like the old music hall type arrangements. And the Midgleys, their sister and brother, they actually featured on there. And but I found this record before then in a charity shop, and it was from the Second Spin, Tunbridge Wells, and it was all of £6.49. So yeah, out on here. So but it has got a bit of wear on it, so I had it out in the workshop garage at the moment. So I thought I'd play you one of the tracks that is all right. Romantic Favourites it's called, and I thought I'd play Liebersturm, which is by Franz Liszt, a duo, and both of them singing there. So as you can see, the record's in not a bad condition. So I thought I'd play that as an interlude this afternoon. So we'll put that on the deck. There we go. And we'll switch this machine on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on this. I'm going to take the mic off me and then put this here. Hopefully that's going to work. And I'll put the microphone near here so that it will. There we go. Hopefully you can still hear me. Anyway, enjoy. It's got a really nice way of connecting. It clicks in, and then you can it uses a Shure cartridge, a Shure M75EJ cartridge. It sounds really nice. I bought it a new stylus at the time, so enjoy. Right, here's take two. I realised I'd got the source play button pushed in, so there was no sound. So here we go. So enjoy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that lovely rendition of Lieberstorm by Vernon and Marietta Midgley. I don't know whether they're still going strong. I expect they've got a website, but I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I know you did. So, before my last item of the afternoon, chatting to you about, which is the National RX M300 radio cassette player, I thought I'd just give a shout out to a few people that I've been watching, things I've been watching on the on Netflix. If you follow Netflix, then you'll be aware of the amazing stuff that is on there. Such great choice of films and documentaries. Two things I've been following recently. The first one is called Designated Survivor. Now, strange title, but it means that apparently in America they have people that are designated if anything should happen to the president. And this drama features the White House being blown up by some form of terrorists and all the ramifications, and that basically the guy who's been designated survivor, which is Kiefer Sutherland, who's playing President Kirkman, or he becomes President Kirkman, is in the chair. And so I've been hooked on this, and we're only into series 1, so be interesting to see how this pans out. I think I'm up to number 13. The other one that's very good, if you like space dramas at all, science fiction, is one called Away, and set in the current day, I think, but it's about a space journey to Mars, and it starts with the crew. You meet all the crew. You're meeting individually, and you meet them on the moon before they set off on their round trip of 3 years, and all the bits that go into there. So I just thought I'd give you a bit of a shout out to those two. They were certainly were quite compelling. I don't know how Netflix do it, but I just get hooked on these things. A couple of YouTube channels that I've been watching recently, picked up on. One is called Foxes Afloat, and the two guys that have this wonderful narrowboat going around the country, and mainly up sort of in the north. So they do go to the Thames and they do go to Windsor, but both Colin and Sean decided to give up their house and live on a narrowboat. And so and then they've also got their dog along with them, and they've got a new puppy now. So it's quite an interesting feature. Colin does a really good explanation of the places they're visiting on their trips, and the different locks and the things about the boat, how they built the boat, what they put into the boat, in a narrow boat, the adventures they're having on the boat, on the narrow boat. And there are several different YouTube channels about narrow boats, but I think this is the nicest one, and it also takes you on a sort of a journey, really. So I watch it when I'm having breakfast in the morning, and it's pretty a good antidote to the news at the moment. And if you comment on their channel, they always reply, which I think is really something. They spend all their time at 2 miles an hour on this wonderful purpose-built narrowboat, and certainly worth a viewing. And so I'll put a link to both these channels, or the Netflix one. I can't put a link to that, but I think you could search for it on Netflix. So it's good. The other one, which is more of interest to me because it's about Abarth cars. As you know, I've got an Abarth 595, and that is one called Abarth Couple. And Jake is the guy who, the young guy here, and he goes around the country with his girlfriend and does things to his car, and does it in such a way that it's quite engaging. And I think that's a bit about the channel, is that it needs to be engaging. Hopefully you find my channel engaging. If you don't, let me know and I'll change it. Don't forget to give it a good old thumbs up as well. So I just thought I'd mention those two things. So quite good there, really. Just making sure that I haven't forgotten anything today, because we've got through quite a lot. I just want to talk to you now about this wonderful national radio cassette deck. This is the National RX-M300, and this came into, as you know, I do some voluntary work at the Heart of Kent Hospice. I work in their shop in Maidstone, and this came in a few weeks ago, I suppose. And all the electrical items have to be pat tested. You can see here there's a pat test on here to make sure that they're all passing. Not that will worry me, but before they can be sold. So this machine came in with a lot of other items that were donated, and I was quite taken, by the colour of it's like a brownie colour, and then by this green on the scale, national as opposed to National Panasonic. I thought this is a really nice piece of kit here. I can't resist it. What made me amuse me was it says big 16cm speaker on here, and which I thought was interesting, and even says that on the top here, 16cm speaker. It's got volume, tone, and then we've got FM, medium wave, and then shortwave 1 and shortwave 2, which I thought was interesting. And I'll switch it on and we'll have a listen to that. On the sides, it's got a fine tuning knob, which I thought was interesting, which is what you use for shortwave. It's got a headphone out, and then obviously you've got the main tuner for the band, which goes along here. And it's got a nice aerial at the back top here. It takes, of course, its dates, I reckon, from probably is around about late 70s, early 80s maybe. I couldn't find a date. I'd have to have a look behind the motors on here. The cassette deck itself is a soft touch opened, but unfortunately it doesn't work. And in fact, I'll show you what happens. It's got the same problem that all these cassette decks of this age have, and that's the belts have gone to mush, I expect. So I was there. I said I'd make an offer. The manager, Eve, who's a lovely lady, said to me that she couldn't sell it because it doesn't fully work. And she said she couldn't have it for nothing because we'd throw it away. Throw it away! I thought, God almighty. So anyway, I said, look, I'll take it home and I'll repair it or use it or whatever. So I haven't quite made up my mind. As you know, I've got some other decks to sort out, all with belt issues. So, but I don't you think it's a very, very nice machine. I think it's lovely. And let me just find a socket here, and I'll plug it in. Right, there we go. Right, we're on now. Let me just. So you've got on the top here, you've got off, which is where it sits on tape. So if I put the tape in first of all, and then you press play, you can hear, can't you? Yeah, nothing's working. And then rewind's the same. So clearly a belt issue, but wouldn't be probably too bad to repair it quite easy. And then Dennis Roussos could play there if you're interested. That's what I want to use the cassette that I use for testing. The radio, let's try the radio, shall we? Got a very good at radio, lovely radio.
Phillips. 21 minutes past 4. Thanks for holding on.
There we
If
go.
you were hanging about for a mention on Twin Towns, we gave you earlier the
Full
anagram,
tone.
which translated into
Got a
two
nice
places
tone, actually,
in the
this
county
machine.
of Kent. Today we were after
This is Radio
Sheerness
Kent.
and Speldhurst, but it's all done and dusted now, so well done. I've listened to her for years. For a decade.
There we go. I'm not sure, that may be Radio 3, I assume. But with ease, this machine works with ease. And Panasonic, National Panasonic, were known for their quality. If you go onto eBay and try and find, I can't find this particular one on eBay, but others are going for about £200 or £300. I mean, I'm not kidding. There's suddenly a resurgence of these machines. It reminds me very much like for my Toshiba, which I've got, which is a very similar setup. You've got a large speaker next to a cassette deck, and I had that brand new back in the 80s, but this one I think surpasses that, so it's a really nice machine. So if we go to medium wave, that's medium wave.
See a young man across the street. He looks and is walking his head down to the ground.
I'm not sure what that is. Pulls in quite a good station. This is the medium wave band is 530 to 160, 1605 megahertz. So it's pulling in quite good. If you go to shortwave 1, there's nothing on this. This is 23 to 70 megahertz. I couldn't get anything yesterday. I'm not sure there's anything broadcasting on that wavelength. If you go to shortwave 2, which is 70 to 222 megahertz, according to that scale. I'm not sure whether anybody ever listened to shortwave in those days, you know. I never did, but perhaps I'm unusual. The other thing that I thought was interesting, there's nothing on here. The other thing that was of interest was that in the back, and I'll just turn this, I think I can just, because it came with a plug and socket, one of those removable type arrangements. Here we go, look. So if I'll put it on this box plinth because it's easier to see. But you've got this here, which is but also in here, it came with its original, look, which had the European type plug on here, which I thought was, and that I discovered that after I had actually opened it up, and you could probably put another plug on there, but I just thought it's never been used. I reckon batteries have never been in there, that hole. It takes 6, I think. Yeah, it'd be 6 D cells like Spectral, make it quite heavy. But it's a really nicely made machine. And in its current form, it just needs a bit of cleaning, which I'll do, a bit of polishing. But I just thought it was, if you stand, you can easily see that it's really nice. and you know, it looks really, all the chrome on that looks really nice, or buff up nicely. It's clearly got an internal microphone. So yeah, so if I get round to doing that, I'll do that as a project. So that was the last thing I was going to chat to you about today, really. And as I say, if there's anything of interest that you'd like, let me know. There'll be some more videos coming, as I say, about the car shows. There'll be some more coming for the little Melody 115, and also some other, I'll be playing some other gramophone records at some stage. But until next time, this is Richard signing off. Thank you for watching. If you've got this far of the video, don't forget to just press the like button and let me know. And stay safe in this COVID new world of ours. And I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.
Siempre que llueve escampas un